Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am so excited for this video because I really wanted to do my take on this like trendy icy eye look, just that perfect cold classic holiday vibes. Using my collaboration with Adept Cosmetics, I have been dying to do more looks for y'all with these, so I thought that a holiday look was the perfect excuse. We've got just like the cutest pink flushed skin and I love how it turned out. So if you want some flawless holiday makeup, just keep watching. Is anyone else just obsessed with giant scrunchies? I'm like, there's no reason for it to be this big, but I love it. I'm starting off with the It Cosmetics Hello Sunshine sunscreen, and I'm really trying to remember to wear my sunscreen every day, even though I haven't been outside as much because, oh Lord, that just dripped. Of course, it's been pretty chilly, but I just started using an exfoliant that has one of the warnings on the label that says like, make sure that you are wearing your SPF every single day or your skin is gonna burn and fall off. It doesn't say that exactly, but that's how I read it, you know? So just trying to be very diligent about wearing my sunscreen. And this is truly the best sunscreen primer combo. I've tried so many and nothing else comes close to this. For foundation, I'm telling you, this combo is so good. If you are also dealing with dry, sad, desperate winter skin, even though it's not even winter for like 2 more days, but my skin is already so over it. I feel like this combo is giving me the beautiful glowy skin of my dreams. This sounds a little egotistical, but I wore this foundation yesterday and I was looking at a selfie I took and I was just zooming in and out on my skin and I was like, wow, it looks so good. I use the Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydro Glow in the shade 1N00, and I normally do just about 1 pump of that. Maybe a pump and a half if I'm feeling a little wild. And then I go in with the About Face Performer Foundation in the shade F2 Olive. And the purpose of this foundation, even though it is really beautiful, and I have the F1 shade and I can use that to mix as well, normally just take a tiny little bit of the wand, throw it on my hand, and that little bit is enough to fix the undertone and really get it to be the perfect shade for my skin. It's funny because I almost have imposter syndrome saying like, oh yes, I have a slight olive undertone, because I just never thought that I did. But every time I add this in my foundations, it makes my skin look so much better and just more like me. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that with a sponge today just to kind of switch it up, because most of the time I go in with a brush, but I've also been obsessed with the Cinch Beauty sponge. It's so big. But I mean, do you see what I'm saying about the shade? Like, you can't even tell that I didn't apply foundation on my forehead versus my cheek because of the color. Like, yes, I could use a little bit more glow here, but the shade, I'm so happy with it. Slightly less coverage with the sponge versus going in with a nice dense brush. I've really been enjoying that combo with the new BK Beauty 115. I feel like it's been so long since I filmed just a classic tutorial type video, and I know why. It's because they just don't do as well. People do not want to click on them, but I don't even care. I feel like this look is going to turn out so cute, and it just feels refreshing. It feels refreshing. Like, let's just talk about makeup. We don't have to talk about anything else. I'm gonna go into the Becca Smashbox Under Eye Brightener in the shade Fair Light. I've just been using a brush with this just to kind of switch it up, but I use my fingers all the time. Definitely having very dark circles under my eyes, at least for me. This is pretty intense for me. I pulled out the Maybelline like color corrector, and you would think that this is what I would be using it for, but I actually prefer this for like a completely different use, which I'll show you in a second. I feel like it does not correct anywhere enough. Like, this is just the best. It's timeless, it's classic, it's a repurchase. So I suppose I should have done this underneath my foundation. I just didn't even think about it. I have the NARS Chantilly concealer, and I love using this to spot conceal under foundation if I have a little spot where I'm like, my foundation's probably not going to cover that up, like what's happening right here. So it's not the exact same shade of as my foundation. I think it's just a little tiny bit brighter, but that's fine. We're just going to pop it on heavily, enough that it covers it, and let it sit. Let it cook. Whatever's left over my finger, instead of just wiping it away, I will use it to slightly correct that hormonal redness that happens around the nostrils. I'm also going to go into the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer for my under eyes. And also just to add a little bit of highlighting. I'm obsessed with this concealer, which is so funny because I had it years and years ago. And I've tried probably like, I don't know, maybe 50 concealers since then. And the fact that I repurchased it and I'm still loving it, and it's just another very, very classic product. I'm feeling very concealer heavy right now. I think you can tell. Just gonna highlight just a little on my chin and my forehead. I would just use my sponge for the chin and forehead area. And then let's see, I've been really enjoying the new BK Beauty 114 concealer slash powder brush. You can use, it's dual-sided. Just gonna tap that in with the cream side. I love how it like really gets all up in that space and gets super soft, so it's not irritating my eyes at all. I tend to be really sensitive when it comes to any eyes that the eyes that I'm using. I don't use eyes. I tend to be really sensitive about any bristles around my lower lash line. Flawless Skin, it is happening. Next, I'm gonna go into the Maybelline Color Corrector, and what I really love using this for, it's kind of strange, but it's almost like just a shade that I'm using in between my concealer and my blush. And sometimes I'll do my concealer and I won't blend it out, and then I'll do this and I'll kind of blend them together more. It depends, but I just really love the shade of this. So I'm gonna kind of just go along right here, kind of how you would with concealer if you're just really trying to brighten. But instead we have this strong pink undertone that looks so pretty when it's blended into blush. I know this isn't gonna be for everyone, but I just enjoy doing it every once in a while for something different. This is the shade 160. And again, just going in with that 114 from BK Beauty and just slightly blending that out. I feel like we're going for that like icy flush, just came in from a sleigh ride kind of look. Well, technically I could go in with this powder side, but I prefer using a puff for this step. Where's my puff? My little singe puff. It's in here. It was hiding. I'm gonna go into the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom powder. This is not something that I do every day, it just depends. But when I do reach for a powder, it has been this one. I'm just gonna pick up a decent amount and set under the eyes. I'm kind of baking. It's not like an excess amount of product, I don't think. Well, maybe more on that side. I'll just let it sit for a second. Sometimes I would do, hey, what are you doing? Do you hear him back talking me? Sometimes I do wish I had a like slightly fairer version of this same shade where it's like still pinky toned, but just like even brighter. One day I'm gonna buy the white shade. I can't remember if it's called like Sugar Cookie or something like that. And I'm gonna mix some together and put it in a separate container and make my own shade. And it's gonna be beautiful. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Baking is actually the perfect time to take a little cap break. Okay, I think it's been long enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and dust all of the excess product away. And I kind of feel like I have to keep working on my face now because it looks kind of funny like that. But I feel like once I add my blush, it all makes sense. So I'm gonna go into my blush palette with Adept. I feel like this is absolutely giving all the vibes. So I'm gonna start off with just a little bit of Cupid, just lightly further back on my cheeks. And I actually did not go in with any bronzer, and I don't really plan to. I feel like that's not what I'm wanting out of this look. So I'm using Cupid to add a little bit of shape to my cheeks. And you can really build it up and go very intense with Cupid, but I'm just going a little bit softer. It's like no matter how many times I use these blushes, they still bring me so much joy. I feel like you could really build that up for that like fresh, just super cold and frosty. What is that, like the cold girl look or something? I can't remember what they used to call it. But you could definitely achieve that. However, I really want to go in with Mishka, that bright pink. We're going to pop that right above Cupid and blend it into that pink concealer area. Kind of so we just have like this seamless ombre of it just getting pinker and pinker. Is it cute? Is it giving blush blindness? You'll have to let me know. Oh, I'm gonna add some to my nose also. like just a little across here. I think I'm gonna go in with my Cinch F06 just for a really fluffy light application of the shade Athena, just to add a little glow on top. But I'm like literally just dusting it on, like just a tiny little bit. For brows, I'm gonna go into the Lip Bar brow pencil, and this is in the shade Micro Brown. And I'm just gonna add a little bit, oh wait, actually, let me comb my brows first. Oh man, you know what I just realized? I never blended out that spot where I spot concealed. I just put stuff right over it, and I feel like you can see it a little bit. Well, it is what it is. I should have just like done like the little like, you know, oh, it's just like a little beauty mark. That's what I should do. All right, I'm gonna just fill in my brows right here. I'd love to say that I'm doing my brows a specific way to go with this look, but really I just do my brows the same way every single day, no matter what. The eyes are going to be very simple, but this is a trendy look I've seen a lot of people doing, and I really want to test it out with my palette. So I'm going to start off with the Anastasia eye primer, just going in with a little bit. A little goes a long way with this, and it is very brightening. Blending that out. Grabbing my Adept X AMYLOVES eyeshadow palette. I am going to dip into the shade Mocha, and I'm just picking up a very small amount of that, and this is going to start off in the outer V, and then I'm going to bring it gently through my crease. I want this to be pretty soft. You know, even just the littlest touch does the job with these. And then I'm just going to lightly buff that out. And that is pretty much going to be all that we do for the crease. Super, super simple. I feel like one of the main criticisms I've gotten from my eyeshadow palette was that there was not a light enough matte. But, you know, I've mentioned this multiple times that I did that on purpose because I didn't want there to be unused shades. But I feel like if you go in with a soft amount and a good blending brush, you can really manipulate the shadow to look quite pale. And you could also build this up quite a bit. I really love that. I feel like the world is your oyster when it comes to this formula. And then I think I'll grab that on a pencil brush, or no, I'm gonna grab it on a smudgy brush because it's what I saw first, and just lightly connect the lower lash line. So for the lid, I really want it to be extra, extra bright. And I am going in with a very light, bright shadow, but I just feel like I can even emphasize it more by using a white base. So I have the P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 0. You can use any white base you have. This is just what I already had out. I actually used this when I was doing like a Cat in the Hat look for Halloween, so it was still out on my desk. Just taking a very small amount and popping that on my lid. Not really doing a cut crease, just kind of doing a lighter, brighter lid overall. It's not too structured. I might even just take whatever's left over on my finger and just tap to make sure it's nice and soft. Right on top of that, I'm gonna go into the shade Lights Up from my palette, just using my finger, and I'm gonna pop that all over the lid. I feel like I've seen a lot of people do this with more of like a matte, where this is like very sparkly and has a little tiny bit of a shift to it. So it is a little different, but I thought it would still be super cute. I'm also just slightly bringing that onto the inner corner. That is exactly what I wanted. I might even take like the little bit of Lights Up that's left over and just slightly highlight underneath my brow bone. Again, just using my fingers. So let's just finish off with the Blend Bunny Omni Lash. Throw that on. I also love a really light and bright, oh shit. Of course, right away. I was gonna say I really love a light and bright lid like this because it makes my lashes look so much longer because they have a better background. Of course, like the black is gonna stand out more against the white. I feel like this is actually one of my favorite looks I've done in a long time, even though it's so simple. So for lips with this look, I feel like you could easily throw on a red lipstick and it would be stunning. I'm just gonna recommend the Lip Bar Boss Lady. I think would be so, so beautiful with this look. But I was thinking of doing something a little bit lighter and more cool toned, and then that would be really, really fun with this. So I'm going to start off with the Maybelline lip liner in the shade Gone Grayish. Just lightly lining my lips for some definition. Then I'll just kind of blend it inward a little bit. Just kind of trying to blend it so it's not like a super obvious line, because I'm going to go in with a more sheer lip color over that. I'm going to use the shade Baby Panda from ColourPop. This is one of their So Juicy Plumping Glossy Lip Oils, and these are great because they add a little plumping effect, but they do not hurt. There is no pain to this beauty. Just adding a little bit of that on top. This is another combo that I just love so much together, especially if you are like me and you're kind of picky about your pinks and you really don't want to get into that like cool tone baby pink category. I just don't like the way it looks on me, even though I love cool tones overall. I feel like adding that more grayy shade, just perfection. So that is the finished look. I feel like we definitely had a trust the process moment when it came to the base routine, but the final look is so, so pretty and just like, to me, the perfect effortless holiday look. And you could switch this out with a red lip. Done. So pretty. I also feel like you could do this same look, and instead of doing the white, you could also go in with the shade Stunning in my palette. You could do the silver because it is a very, very bright metallic silver. I think that would also be really beautiful used interchangeably. I think it is so, so cute overall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you miss seeing more tutorials, make sure that you're engaging with this video, and I will see you tomorrow for another day of Indiemas. Bye.